Bitcoin is heading to $14,000. Everyone sell your coins. That's what some people were saying last week, as a new established all-time high for Bitcoin in December began seeming out of reach. But with action yesterday seeming extremely bullish, now we might actually be on track for those all-time highs this month, maybe within the next week. But what will the catalyst be that will send us over the moon? Well, today we've had a lot of really crazy stories that's setting up the ending of 2020 to be a fever pitch for Bitcoin. Let's get it. BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap gets you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.io. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in cryptocurrency. If you like money and crypto, then hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out our beginner's guide to crypto by visiting crypto4dudes.com. That's with the number 4. Here you guys will find the regular guy's guide to crypto. In the next couple of months, we're going to be telling you more about our education and courses, but big things are in store for those who get the course. Also, guys, today's the last day for submissions for BitBoy Secret Santa. We'll be picking out the recipients of the $1,500 gifts for Christmas this week. In today's video, we're going to be discussing whether or not important news matters for Bitcoin and how it relates to the price. 3 stories that occurred: Google went down, the US Treasury was hacked, and India is having a giant worker strike. All 3 of these stories are big. They can have their own videos. That's why on our BitSquad YouTube channel, I talked about them today. If you want to do that, make sure to subscribe to the BitSquad. It's our second kind of backup channel, but more for the community. But today, I know what you guys want to talk about, and that's why we're going to be discussing the price of Bitcoin. So the weekly close this week was slightly in the red. Certainly not close enough to warrant a sudden new bear market, as some people were calling for last week. People have to understand, we are not in the same climate that we were in back in 2017 when Bitcoin hit $20,000. This is a different time in the market, and I want to demonstrate that to you today. I really want to discuss something that I've had on my mind about Bitcoin and its all-time highs. They are coming. This could possibly be the most important video about Bitcoin on the internet right now. I'm going to be explaining some of the principles behind Bitcoin that separate it from everything else. When you get this, you get everything about Bitcoin. This is how I've correctly predicted Bitcoin's moves all year long. There's been an age-old argument about whether or not news matters in crypto. Now, there are basically 2 viewpoints here. One is the technical perspective. They believe that the price of Bitcoin is solely based upon the charts. The buy and sell pressure based on the movement of Bitcoin's price is what actually guides the market. The second is the fundamental perspective. This is what we talk a lot about on this channel. It's anything off of the charts. But really and truly, the way most people understand fundamental analysis is that the price of Bitcoin is affected by news stories. If a project has a big partnership, then the price will increase. For instance, ZeroChain, or ZCN, is supposed to be revealing 2 big partnerships with major crypto players this week or next. Therefore, I expect the price of that coin to increase. There's a little Easter egg for you guys in this video. But the point is, people assume the price of Bitcoin will go up when big news happens. However, it doesn't seem to work in a bear market. In a bear market, negative news will continue to push the price down further. Now, if we look over the last few months with Bitcoin, we have seen announcements from Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, PayPal's entrance into crypto, and even the election all had big positive impacts on the price of Bitcoin. Meanwhile, negative news like the Trump admin considering big crypto wallet regulation and even news of a stablecoin ban haven't really stopped Bitcoin's bullish momentum. In a bear market, the positive news would have barely budged the market, and the negative stories would have tanked the prices. You see, the fundamentals involving news push the price towards the place it's already going. In a bull market, that means up, and in a bear market, that means down. That's because Bitcoin has a mind of its own, if you will. It wants to go where it wants to go. And yes, I understand, Bitcoin is an inanimate and intangible thing. But this is where things for Bitcoin get really interesting. And I believe history is going to back up everything I'm about to tell you. Bitcoin is not subject to technical or fundamentals. Bitcoin was always going to hit $100,000. Beyond that, Bitcoin will hit $1 million. It's kind of like watching the Titanic for the first time, which I never actually managed to watch. Why? Well, my 9th grade girlfriend watched it with another guy when we were on a break. We were the late 90s high school version of Ross and Rachel. I pledged to never watch it, and I fulfill my vow. But the point is, okay, I didn't have to actually watch the movie to know what was going to happen. I already knew the story behind the Titanic. All of the trivial things that occur in that movie are not important to the ending. They do not affect it. All they do is simply assist in the storytelling and moving it along, and that is Bitcoin. I know how it ends. It was always going to end this way. Bitcoin is by far the greatest asset we have ever had in the world. It's the only asset we ever had that was crafted to be something, crafted to be superior to all other money in the world. Over 2 millenniums worth of understanding money put into one asset, intelligent design behind money. And it has been adopted as an investment, no question about that. But in the early days, that was very questionable. But once Bitcoin hit the adoption point, you could not stop the momentum. The tokenomics behind Bitcoin are far superior to any asset we've ever seen. Supply and demand is built into the coin itself. You have to understand, the biggest stories in the history of Bitcoin seem to be catalysts for certain market movements. These events fall in line with dramatic rises and drops of the price. But you see, they're simply red herrings. These events are anchor points for the market, but the events themselves are interchangeable. Whether it was the Mt. Gox hack that plunged Bitcoin further into a bear winter, Bitcoin futures contracts launching in 2017 that signaled the top of the market, or PayPal coming into crypto signaling the bull market is officially here. None of these stories are nearly as important as you would believe them to be. You see, if it wasn't the Bitcoin's futures launching, it would have been another story or narrative that would have popped Bitcoin's bubble in the last bull run. If it wasn't PayPal this year, it would have been something else. Here's what we do. We find whatever story lines up with strong Bitcoin movements and assign those stories as the official moments when Bitcoin did X. But as with almost anything, Bitcoin falls out of your predefined box where you feel like it should go into. It colors outside the lines. As Bitcoin flirts with the $19,000 line, we're now looking for that anchor point on the timeline. The thing that will serve as the narrative pushing Bitcoin above all-time highs. Could it be stimulus money agreements? Could it be the loss of faith in the US dollar? Could it be chaos based upon the current political storm? Or is there something else? No, guys, it's not news. It's the profound design of Bitcoin. That's truly the story here most people are missing. We're watching a magician on stage right now performing his greatest trick. The audience is about to be wowed and amazed. They'll go home and talk about how in the world they thought that the magician performed the trick because it didn't seem possible. But we are not the audience. We already know exactly what the trick is and how it's performed. It's still impressive, but we don't get fooled by the smoke and mirrors. We already know the card is up in Bitcoin's sleeve, and we're just waiting for it to be played. Every time Bitcoin hits these moments in time when people are begging for it to do one thing, it continues on its path unfazed. Bitcoin will hit all-time highs this month. Could be this week, could be next. But I'm very confident that Bitcoin will do what it always does, what it was always designed to do. The only question is whether or not you will be able to take advantage of the secret information that 99% of the world doesn't know and doesn't understand. All I know is this: Bitcoin is certainly worth the price of admission. But what do you guys think? When will Bitcoin hit its all-time highs and move past them? Drop your comments down below. That's all I got. Be blessed. Big Way out.